Hello everybody and welcome to vlog number 4. I am happy to announce that the skies have cleared, both in my head and in my garden. And all that thanks to me delving deep into the Korean natural farming technique of soil and plant growth enhancement. What a wonderful relief and an absolute joy to experience this, what seems at first glance a lot less complicated than the biodynamic way of soil improvement. However, some ingredients to make the preparations do seem difficult to get my hands on, just like a lot of the ingredients for the biodynamic solutions. However, the Korean natural farming system feels somehow more accessible to me. In my opinion, not so complicated and definitely more down to earth than the biodynamic system. But I'm still holding my awareness high because first looks might deceive, and as we all know, one shouldn't judge the book by its cover, right? Don't get me wrong here. Both of these soil enhancing techniques appear to present some challenges. However, at this point in time, the Korean natural farming technique is the one that I feel good about. Relatable, doable, rational. Nonetheless, it does raise some questions on my behalf. Because Korean natural farming originated in South Korea, which is situated literally on the other side of the world, I wonder if this technique could be applied on the Toxandrian soil with the same results as the technique already has showed not only in South Korea, but also in Mongolia, China, Japan, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, the Philippines, India, and the United States of America. I marvel at this because there is not only a difference in climate, fauna and flora, but also soil conditions must undoubtedly be hugely different in all these regions. Will the solutions presented by Korean natural farming work their magic as well on Toxandrian soils as they do in South Korea and the other countries mentioned before? After all, the other soil enhancement technique that I looked into, namely Biodynamics, has its origin in Europe. And that's a lot closer to the Toxandrian home. The obvious question arises then if these biodynamic preparations will perform better at the Toxandrian soil because of the locality where the idea of biodynamics first originated. Or will Korean natural farming prove to be able to stand its ground on the sandy soils of Toxandria? Oh well, we will never know now, will we? Or, wait a minute, maybe we might be able to know one day. If I remember correctly, didn't one of the greatest scientists of our time, Nikola Tesla, once said, and I quote him here, "The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in one decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence." Well, according to my opinion, that saying could refer somewhat to the deeper knowledge embedded in biodynamics. A sphere of knowledge that doesn't appear so obvious at first sight, but maybe that working with these biodynamic preparations will reveal more about the inner workings of biodynamics than one can understand just from merely reading a text out of a book. Didn't I, in my last vlog, refer to Mr. Steiner as an ardent supporter of setting up experiments? And, if I recall correctly, doesn't Dr. Cho himself insists that farmers are free to experiment on their own? Well, maybe we could do that, setting the garden up as one big experiment. A battle of comparison between Korean natural farming and biodynamics, and to make it somewhat even more exciting and accessible, a third part with just some compost and compostees to serve as a reference to both techniques. Because all good things come in three, isn't that how the saying goes? Now, Hold your horses right there, little missy. This all sounds good in theory, but what about the practical side of it? First and foremost, let us start with room for this experimental endeavor I am about to embark on. Do I have room for this? Now, let's see. If we take the outlay of the garden and chicken coop as it is now, and if we wipe all of it off the table and start from scratch, except obviously where the house and the wood workshop and the metal workshop and the swimming pool and the driveway and the terrace are situated, then we could create 3 raised beds here, approximately 1 meter by 12 meters, which comes down to 40 inch by 470 inch, I think, surrounded by one very large chicken coop that can easily be divided into smaller chicken coops, so we can house different breeds and multiple roosters for an extensive gene pool. Here, one greenhouse about 9 meters or 350 inch long with raised beds, both sides divided into 3 equal parts. And on the front side of the house we could create a patch of 3 equal beds which aren't raised, to see if the results between raised beds and beds put directly on the existing soil give different results. And we could create a herbal garden here and a patch for some fruit trees here, and lo and behold, we just could have magically created our experimental homestead. On paper, that is. I'm not sure if I will be able to muster up the courage and braveness to get this project up and running, but I will do my very best, as this is one hell of an experiment to put one's time and energy into. But with some encouragement from you and a goal that is big enough, one can move mountains, I suppose. Well, I guess the time has come now to turn this dream on paper into reality, so we can find out which one of the soil enhancement techniques can stand the test of time at the Toxandria homestead. I am so curious on which technique will turn out to give the best results. I hardly can wait to see it all come to life. So, roll up your sleeve, my friends. It's time to get our hands dirty. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see how this experiment between Korean natural farming and biodynamics will unfold. And yes, I know, sometimes life gets in the way, but don't let that stop you, at least not today.